In 1998, a mysterious Frenchman walked into the most exclusive private clubs in Los Angeles, introducing himself to elite executives as a prominent member of the wealthy Rockefeller dynasty. He wore tailored Italian suits, drove custom sports cars, and resided in a sprawling mansion situated high in the Hollywood Hills. Within a few short months, he was regularly dining with world-famous movie stars, earning the unyielding trust of powerful financial investors and convincing seasoned businessmen to hand over hundreds of thousands of dollars with nothing more than a casual handshake. To the glamorous high society of California, he was living proof of old money nobility. But behind this dazzling illusion of extreme wealth and influence, this smooth-talking billionaire did not actually exist. He was a former orphan from an impoverished European fishing village, carrying a fake passport and building an empire funded entirely on stolen money. The official story that Hollywood elites eagerly swallowed was crafted with terrifying mathematical perfection. Christopher Rockefeller presented himself to the American public under the alias of Christopher Rockefeller, claiming to be the rebellious heir to an insurmountable real estate and oil fortune. He informed potential targets that he was quietly managing exclusive offshore investment funds, offering high-net-worth individuals a rare opportunity to double their capital through rapid financial trades. The illusion was so seamless and intoxicating that wealthy victims willingly handed over their life savings just to be associated with his legendary family name. For nearly 2 years, he moved through the highest halls of American power without a single person checking his background, until a minor unpaid bill at a luxury hotel in California sparked a quiet police inquiry that ultimately caused his elaborate kingdom of deception to implode. To truly understand how a man with no verified identity managed to deceive the most powerful figures in entertainment, one must examine the psychological mechanics behind his masterclass in fraud. Rockefeller operated on a fundamental flaw in human nature, which is that people rarely question the credentials of someone who appears vastly wealthier than themselves. He rented sprawling luxury estates using fraudulent international wire transfers that took several business days to clear the banking system. Before financial compliance officers could flag the missing funds, Rockefeller had already used his prestigious temporary address to secure massive cash loans from private lenders who assumed his wealth was legitimate. Each successful lie provided the initial capital to fund his next extravagant scheme, creating a rolling snowball of stolen wealth that expanded with every passing month. As his reputation grew throughout Southern California, Rockefeller expanded his operations into the world of celebrity endorsements and high-stakes movie production. He held lavish dinner parties where he casually dropped the names of foreign heads of state, promising to finance multi-million-dollar independent film projects for rising directors. Duped executives were so blinded by his perceived influence that they routinely covered his lavish expenses, paying for private jet charters, expensive vintage wines, and security entourages under the assumption that the Rockefeller estate would wire reimbursement funds at the end of the quarter. In reality, Rockefeller was using the money stolen from one victim to pay off the immediate debts of another, executing a classic Ponzi structure hidden behind the veil of aristocratic glamour. By late 1999, the sheer scale of his deception had reached astronomical proportions, prompting the Federal Bureau of Investigation to open a confidential case file on his ongoing activities. Special agents assigned to the White-Collar Crime Division quickly discovered that the man calling himself Christopher Rockefeller was actually wanted by multiple European law enforcement agencies for bank fraud, identity theft, and grand larceny. Yet, even as federal authorities systematically closed in on his known residences, Rockefeller managed to remain one step ahead of the law by constantly altering his name, his physical appearance, and his intimate inner circle. When the pressure in Los Angeles grew too intense, he abandoned his Hollywood estate overnight and fled north across the border into Canada, alongside a prominent fashion model, carrying nearly $500,000 in untraceable cash. Upon arriving in Vancouver, Rockefeller instantly rebooted his criminal operation under a fresh persona, assuming the identity of an aristocratic international racing driver with ties to European royalty. Court documents later revealed that he systematically targeted wealthy real estate developers, convincing them to finance non-existent commercial ventures in exchange for guaranteed returns backed by foreign banks. He adopted the lifestyle of a high-performance athlete, renting luxury suites in downtown Vancouver and mingling with local politicians who were eager to attract foreign investment to the region. His ability to adapt his personality to whatever his victims desired made him virtually invisible to standard police procedures, as no one suspected that an elite sports figure was actually a wanted international fugitive. However, his endless streak of good fortune was rapidly running out. Canadian police officers, working in direct coordination with American federal agents, initiated a comprehensive surveillance operation that monitored his communications and tracked his daily luxury spending across the city. Investigators quietly documented every fraudulent document he forged, patiently waiting for the precise moment when his legal guilt could be proven beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. Federal wiretaps intercepted conversations where Rockefeller discussed moving large sums of capital through offshore shell accounts, providing prosecutors with the concrete evidence needed to secure an immediate international arrest warrant. The dramatic climax of the investigation arrived in April 2001, when a joint tactical force surrounded his high-end hotel suite in downtown Vancouver. Realizing that his avenues of escape were completely blocked, the master imposter surrendered to authorities without firing a single shot, effectively ending one of the most audacious, lucrative, and prolonged runs of financial fraud in modern history. The news of his arrest sent shockwaves through Hollywood, leaving dozens of prominent millionaires completely humiliated as they realized their private investments had vanished into thin air. Federal prosecutors immediately filed a mountain of charges against him, preparing for a high-profile trial that would expose the dark underbelly of celebrity culture and high society greed. During the intense judicial proceedings that followed, federal prosecutors presented a mountain of evidence detailing how Rockefeller had systematically exploited legal loopholes and human vanity to steal over $5 million across 2 continents. In 2003, following a lengthy legal battle, he entered a guilty plea to multiple federal counts of wire fraud, grand theft, and perjury. The presiding judge sentenced him to nearly 5 years in a federal penitentiary and ordered him to pay millions of dollars in financial restitution to his long list of victims. Yet, despite his formal conviction and eventual deportation back to Europe, financial intelligence officers remained skeptical that all of his illicit gains were recovered, with many believing that substantial sums remain hidden in secret offshore accounts to this day. The story of Christophe Rockefeller stands as a stark warning about the blinding power of social prestige and the ease with which human perception can be manipulated by pure confidence. His victimized investors never recovered their lost fortunes, and the prestigious name of Christopher Rockefeller faded from the registries of luxury California hotels as quickly as it had first appeared. The man who successfully swindled the richest people in America was ultimately stripped of his freedom and exposed to the entire world, but the psychological blueprint of his audacious fraud remains preserved in the dark archives of federal crime forever. This extraordinary tale of stolen identity and financial deception is far from the only instance where a master manipulator managed to infiltrate the highest circles of wealth using sheer boldness. In our next investigation, we uncover the shocking true story of a brilliant female fraudster who convinced America's largest banking institutions that she was the secret daughter of industrial tycoon Andrew Carnegie, securing millions of dollars in fraudulent loans with nothing more than a forged signature and an undeniable presence.